I never take a day off. Work around the clock, my engineer getting paid off. Frock like ace off, like the Sweden take off. So high I cannot see it off. What's up, my dude? So, this is my new custom track called Trippy SX. And I think it's pretty hilarious how everybody likes to say I'm on these hardcore drugs and oh my gosh, this is crazy, Spencer, you're always on these drugs and stuff like that. It's like, dog, this is what Spencer Turley's sober mind makes right here. You ain't got a fucking clue, dude. But, like, I posted my, I think it was my Mars Supercross track on the forums, and some dude, like, posted a comment. It was like a little meme picture where he was saying, it said, like, lots of drugs on it or whatever, you know, kind of like as a joke. And it's like, dude, that is like a tenth of what it could be on the Richter scale of craziness. So this is a pretty wild track right here, dude, and it was actually about 5 times crazier than this, but I toned it down quite a bit just to make it somewhat comprehensible. I mean, I don't really even know if it is that still, but it was a lot crazier than this on the first little rendition that I had made of it. Like, for instance, I tried to put Rainbow Rain in this motherfucker and it almost gave me a seizure. So that's not a joke, dude. Like, it gets to a crazy point where you almost can't even make the track. So I definitely have a lot more ideas that have kind of spurred out of this little track right here that I've made. So even though this is just one kind of rendition of it, I'll probably make a lot more different things that are like this in the future. But yeah, man, just a pretty wild design. I mean, you can see the smiley faces changing colors off in the distance. It's hard to think you could make a track crazier than this, but I'm telling you, the first actual version of it was like, ugh, you almost threw up. Like, there was so much going on the track and the skybox and everything. It was just like, it was almost unbearable. So that's kind of why I toned it down to a level of just like, okay, this is the entry level of the Trippy franchise of my custom tracks. You know, this is the kind of the beginning, slowly working you guys into it, but eventually we'll get to a point where it gets a lot crazier than even this right here. Listen, I'm one of those kind of people that I understand that I'm just a soul in this human body shell. I know that life is just life. We don't even really know what this is that we're in. We have no clue. Nobody knows anything about anything, and I totally understand that at every second of the day, so this is nothing to me. Check out this crazy moment right here. Oh my god, dude. Almost fell off into the pit of the abyss right there. Somehow saved it, but yeah, like what I'm getting at though is people love to say I'm like crazy or whatever the case may be, and that's completely understandable, and I'm not questioning that, but I think most people don't ever even think that, hey man, this is just life. This is just one little thing that we're in, but this isn't everything. I mean, you know, there's a lot more to this, and I understand it could end at any second, and then that's it. You know, so it's like, why not go ahead and try everything that you can? Why not do it while you're here? And that's kind of the inspiration I want to portray to people. It's like, there's a really good saying, I know this is in No Man's Sky, where they say that, you know, you can't be scared when you go off deep into the ocean of never being able to see the shore again, or whatever that saying is. I pretty much butchered the fuck out of it, but there's some saying like that where you can't be scared to go deep enough out in the ocean, you know, with like losing the side of the shore. You can't be scared of that. So it's like, don't be scared of trying things. And I think most of the world is nowadays. So yeah, it's, I mean, you can call this track too crazy, super unrealistic, not fun, shitty track. That's fine. That's your opinion. I totally respect that, and especially if you don't like unrealistic style tracks, I totally get it, dude. There's no hate. I don't hate you for saying that. I don't disrespect you for saying that or whatever. That's completely cool, but guess what? I'm not gonna stop. So, you know, if you're trying to hate on my tracks thinking I'm gonna stop making them, then you're way off, bro. But yeah, this is just one little one little ladder step up the stairway to heaven on Spencer Turley's custom tracks right here. But fairly fun Supercross track. Like, it's not bad. It's probably one of the better actual designs of a Supercross track. If you could totally just kind of cancel out all the background stuff on this track, it's actually pretty decent of a Supercross track. A lot of unique sections, a lot of like just corners where it'd be like 3 bowl corners right in a row, and then 2 triples right in a row. Like flat corners where you got to come around and hit a triple. A lot of sections where they kind of like curved rhythm sections, if that even makes any sense. So there's a lot of unique stuff like that on this track. Not just the like biome or vibe or whatever you want to call it, even though I've never seen a track really made quite like this before. The on track definitely fits in with that as well, but I didn't want to make something so crazy on track. I knew the off track was going to be crazy enough to completely carry this track, so I didn't want to, you know, make a crazy on track and have like a rainbow dirt on the track, because then it would be really hard to wrap your mind around it. But I will get into crazier track designs than even this right here. Like, this is entry-level Trippy, okay? Very, very entry-level. You can see all the shrooms off on the left. Got a rainbow waterfall into a pond there. But yeah, dude, here's another one of those sections where you kind of like go back and forth in the corners. Then the finish line's right here. So got like an S corner straight away. So the rocks have like the mountains have a certain rainbow texture to them. And then you've got a different sort of texture. Let me see if I can pause this right here and kind of go over and show you guys. You can see this other texture, which is very much like I don't know what they call that, like oil and water rainbow or whatever you want to call it. So there's a lot of sections kind of like that. You can see if you just like stop right here, it's actually pretty trippy. But I'm telling you guys, this is nothing. This is nothing to what I'm capable of making. Nothing, bro. This is like, seriously though, this is like pretty basic to me. Pretty simplistic, but I will definitely expand upon this idea, and a ton of other ideas have, like I said, kind of spiraled out of this. Not just Trippy track ideas. I mean, there's a lot more that I've thought of different design-wise, but it's pretty cool. You can see these kind of like different decal mountain canyon area over here. I don't know. I feel like it just fits in. It's kind of a different ground decal, and it just looks cool to me. It just kind of fills in this other side of the track. It's kind of like a different Trippy biome, if that makes any sense at all. But yeah, man, got the alien over there in his Zen mode. But definitely decent, fun track. I love how I added in the kind of purple fog effect where you can really, oh man, I love that look. But yeah, man, here's a little bit of a closer look at some of the kind of rainbow waterfalls. Got some shrooms. I made quite a few different shroom billboards. So yeah, just a pretty fun Supercross track. It really is. There's a lot of flat corners, so you'll definitely, this is a good track to practice that on. But other than that, quite a few unique sections. Like this one right here, you can jump triple over, then you jump all the way to the table. But what you do is, like, you can't really go on off of the table all the way over the next jump, so you kind of like bounce off of the next jump onto the next one, and then you triple over that. You see what I'm saying? So it's like there's a couple of unique sections on there that I've thought were fairly witty. Not the most interesting sections ever, but I thought a couple of them were pretty cool and different like that, without getting too crazy out of the realm of. I feel like the on-track's actually fairly realistic. I really do. Like I'm saying, if you blocked out all this crazy off-track stuff, the on-track's pretty like medium difficulty, tons of different lines to hit. You can hit everything in a smaller section. It's similar to my Lunar Oasis, but like a lot easier, basically, is what this is right here. It's just a lot easier than that, and it's got just, I don't know, man, like the triples. I feel like you could hit everything on a 125. Now, this one section where you got the flat corner and you come around and you huck the next triple going back the other way. It could be a little bit tricky to get the 125 up to speed right here. But even if you do double this right here, you can still hit a rhythm up out of it. So it's not like totally devastating, you know. And that's kind of the balance to a lot of these flatter corners, is the fact that you can like totally sweep up the inside and try to save time that way. There's a lot of different like time-saving sort of line options that you can find on this track. There's a bunch of them, man. I mean, everywhere, sections like that. But you can see the pyramids off in the distance. I was pretty happy about how that purple fog definitely made those show up pretty cool. But got the whoop going through a corner, long sweeper corner section. Then you jump up this, multiple different options, and you got this jump right here, which has got the middle part lowered and both of the outsides are raised up, so fairly unique little section right there. If you hit the middle, you're obviously not getting as much airtime, but you won't be jumping all the way over this tabletop, so different balancing option lines right there. And there's even some bigger lines that I can promise you I've only hit like one time in my entire, there's a super easy line, then you have a middle line, then you have a hard line, then you have a pro line, then you have a pastrana line. There really is that many different, like for instance, let me just give you a little bit of an idea of what you could do in some of these areas. So like over here, if you sweep this wide enough, and you bounce off of this and you scrub this and you've got enough momentum, you can land right here and actually huck all the way over this tabletop, which is a pretty big leap, dude. You'll get what I'm saying when you actually get on the track, but then you can huck that. I'm pretty sure you can triple that and then double. And then some different occasions, like over here, let me try to explain this section so that you guys don't get absolutely annoyed by it. So you come up right here and you kind of have this like whoop jump type section, and once you kind of find your rhythm to where you will land right here, you see that right there where that's more of a kind of like a actual, almost like the top of a dragon's back or something like that. This is kind of like where you're meant to jump off of. Well, you got to realize you really need to hit your brakes right before you hit this so you don't jump too far. Because a lot of times you're getting enough speed off of these rollers right here to really hit that too hard and then just kick the front end up. So you got to realize how to hit your brakes right there so that you don't jump too far. Then you're just kind of rolling over this thing right here, and then you can do your rhythm like either triple or quad, and then all the way around section right here. But that's just, you know, some different options that you can do right there, or you can huck it all the way. You know, the pastrana line would be like coming through here and then hitting this so hard and seat bouncing, hucking all the way. I'm sure you could huck this to like right here even, and then possibly triple this, and then potentially like quad all the way over here. I mean, it's just endless line options because the jumps are small enough to where you can actually get different rhythms. There's certain tracks where the jumps get so big that it just eliminates all the line options that you had on it. And I've made a couple of them like that as well. But this one, it's like the actual jump sizes themselves are small enough to where it's basically however hard you want to hit the gas is how big of a line you can hit. It's like there's a line for every single type of speed level out there. I mean, you can just double through this stuff. You can single through this stuff. I mean, shit, you know, you can jump it however you want to jump it. But yeah, so anyways, link in the description to this track. Make sure you have the 2016 AMA Supercross replica tracks, because I know that my tough block thing right here, this actually comes from Nicholas Sandbox Supercross, and this is kind of like my little advertising tough block that became famous somehow. But basically, like, I'm pretty sure he got this, like the model of it is from the 2016 Supercross track. So, and I didn't really know how to actually get that file from there, or I would have just put it in the track where you didn't have to worry about getting the 16 tracks, but I couldn't. That's not actually how Nicholas did it on his track. So, yeah, I don't know. But either way, just to be safe, most of you guys probably already have the 16 Supercross tracks, but for just some of you that don't have it, just make sure you have them, and that way the tough blocks show up. But either way, man, this is Trippy SX. Dude, check out those smiley faces over there. That took me... I probably spent 2 days. This shit's crazy right here. Listen to this. I spent 2 full days on just going through like different ideas of things. Like I was telling you, I put the rainbow acid rain on the track. I put some crazy skybox stuff that was like just blowing your mind. You couldn't even focus on the track. Took me forever to get the billboards where they would flip through the colors, but not too fast, where it would like drive you nuts, but fast enough to where it actually looked trippy, you know. And I don't even know how any of that sequence stuff works, so I had to go in there and kind of figure it out. But I shit you not, it took me 2 full days just to figure out like what I was going to do on some of the way off track stuff. And it actually turned out to be really simplistic, but I learned a lot from it. And so I'm going to be integrating that into some future stuff. But yeah, and just like figuring out the fog, but the on track itself, I mean, that was like a 2 or 3 day task in its own right. I built that way before I built any of this off track stuff. It's just crazy when you think about where your track starts, like a perfectly flat surface with that default green, terrain. I think it's a tile map that makes that green grass coloration to the actual ground, and then you turn it into something like this. It's just like, what? It's so crazy when you look at like where you start on custom tracks and then where you finish. I love how that can teach a person how when you just continue to put more time in and more time in, amazing things can happen. And that's really the truth of it. Like, amazing things start to happen when you never give up on something. Basically, I think that is the most important trait you can have in life. Screw everything else. If you never give up, then did you ever really lose?